There we go. All right, everybody. Today we're talking about the annual plan, and then we're going to break into some regular coaching, which is going to be good. So, when I was starting my business, one of the biggest things that I wanted you guys to get from this program and I wanted to just like give to the world is having a business can be closer to having a regular job than a lot of people make it out to be. And I think one of the things that makes like having a business so intimidating is the fact that it's so untraditional and it can feel really unpredictable. And that's why we talked about like making a marketing formula and like a lot of the things for the systems are designed to create structures to create safety for your brain so you can show up and be like the amazing badass CEOs that you are and just like focus on your gifts and talents instead of just like trying to regulate your nervous system all the time. The annual plan is one of my favorite ways that we can do that. And it creates a way for you to envision what you want your future self to be. And it helps just give you basic guidelines for like where your year is going. So when I was thinking, and I'm actually doing this in like a different form, but I'm going to be doing something like this on next Wednesday. So if you want to come and see how I like do a little bit more of the breakdown, feel free to come. It's going to be at 8 p.m. But we are going to create something that's like a well-rounded year. And I think that many of us, if you're like me, you might have found that your business kind of took over your life when you created it. And like you see all those like videos and it's like, I wanted to like stop working my 9 to 5. So now I work 24/7 in my business. And it's like, yeah, no, that's like less than ideal. We want to actually have a life and and one of the things that like I gained a lot from Greece was that I wanted to have a life that revolved around or a business that revolved around my life, not necessarily a life that revolved around my business. And that's what the annual plan can help you do, just to see all the parts of your year and fit it all in. So we're going to talk about creating annual goals for 5 aspects of your life. And then we'll talk about how to break them down every quarter. And in many of the trainings that I've done, they'll be like, okay, like what's just a number that you want to hit? Like what's a number that you want to like aspire to be? And like, okay, if you want to hit $1 million, become millionaire Megan, and that's going to be your self-concept. But it's a lot easier, in my opinion, when I can actually see a tangible way that I'm like, okay, if I get this many clients and am charging this much, then this is one way that I could actually become millionaire Megan. And that's what we're going to do with the annual goals. And then there's this thing called monthly breakdowns. And this is so helpful for you to see like not only your business goals throughout the year and be like, ooh, like I could fit this in July, or I could fit this in June. But it's also really helpful to um be able to see like also like your life with your business all on one page. So that's what the monthly breakdown will be. And I'm like trying to like give you like an idea, and it'll make so much more sense, I think, when you actually see it. And then we're going to talk about monthly planning. So we've already spoken about planning your time, and within the micro categories of your week, that's where you want to use Monday hour one. So that's where you've got different routines, you've got habit stacking. So you want to like, if you want to start adding posting to YouTube along with posting to Instagram, you could, the same time that you post to Instagram, you could, if it's at a habitual time every day, you could stack on a habit of posting to YouTube. That can be an additional thing. And I was like, give the example, I'm like, okay, if I'm waking up every day, working out could be a thing that I could do, and it makes your brain a little bit easier. A little bit easier for your brain to focus on that. The next thing is the macro. So you know the micro pieces of planning. This is like the macro piece of planning. It's like seeing the big picture and being like, okay, I want to have a way that I'm going to comprehensively plan my time and making sure that like my life is getting goals are getting met and my business goals are getting met. So I was thinking about like when you guys are scheduling vacations, if you historically, you might not have this data just yet, but historically for my business at least, the busier times are spring, like winter, like right after the December holidays, and in the fall. So like those are like my hot times. Instead of scheduling like being out of town and having a vacation during that time, I try and like schedule vacations outside of it. So what you want to do is you want to create a prioritization strategy for what matters. So like micro, like self-care, we've already talked about a lot of this stuff. Like when you're thinking about your year, what do you want to look back and accomplish? The micro stuff, like, okay, I want to have a self-care strategy. I want to work out every day. Those are things that you want to make sure that you're putting on your calendar every week. But then let's say on like for 2023, you're like, you know what? I would really like to run a marathon. I want to buy a house. I want to renovate. I want to invest in something. I want to read books. All that stuff goes on the macro annual plan calendar. Same with relationships. If you're like, okay, I want all of you guys to like think about like what do you want to remember 2023 as? Obviously, you're getting systems, you're going to get really organized this year for your business, but like also it's like, okay, how do I want my relationship to grow with my kids, my life partner, friends? And even in thinking about like for me, I haven't seen my Canadian family since I was, I think, 14 years old. Like, and my grandma's the oldest of 12, and she's 87. And I wanted to make sure that, like, we went up and saw the family, she's getting older, and we want to make sure that she got a chance to go to where she grew up one last time. Hopefully, not last time, but like, realistic, So we are doing a family reunion in July. That's the reason I'm missing the third week. And then I want to make sure that like that's how I remember 2023. I'm like, this is the year I went back to like the motherland. Another thing, so that's like for personal. Then there's relationships. Then there is, I'm gonna kind of go in a different order. There's like discovery. So these are all kind of like the life pieces, and then the reoccurring process and career advancement. These are kind of like the business categories. It just like it looked more aesthetically pleasing to have it in this order because it was too tight. And I couldn't move these blue lines. So that's why it's like not as organized, but that's okay. So the next piece is you want to think about like discovery, like what kind of experiences do you want to have this year? Rob and I really want to learn how to play guitar. I'm like, I want to make sure that like by the end of this year, I've never ever played an instrument in my life. And I'm like, I think it'd just be really cool. And so we're thinking about like, we're gonna take classes in May, but we're pushing that back to like August, and it's gonna be great. um, also like I used to like volunteer a lot in college, and I don't volunteer like at all anymore. It's not something that I want to like continue to do. So I'm kind of fitting that into like next year's plan, but definitely like making times for like the person I want to be. The other thing for discovery is like trips, events, weddings, showers. Like it's Rob's mom's 50th birthday. That was it actually happened like 2 weeks ago, but that's why we're going to Florida in the first week. Like I want to make sure that I have trips like that and ways to discover and like build relationships in that way as well. Coming to the reoccurring processes and the career advancement, those are typically more business related things. Now, you could also put like life stuff in there. Like, okay, I need to do household maintenance. Like for me, it's like changing the air filters. I always forget to do that. And so I like need to make sure that like that is actually on my calendar. I just put that in my Monday hour one calendar, just make it a reoccurring thing. And back to like the habit stacking thing, like it's like, okay, the cats and dogs need like heart and flea stuff. And so that's also something that you put on there on just your regular calendar. But then for the macro, forecasting is another word for projecting. So it's like, okay, how much money do I want to make? How much like in like checking in with like yearly performance reviews. What I mean by that is like doing the monthly checklist, which we'll get into next week, and making sure that you're reviewing and evaluating as often as possible. The next thing is career advancement. So if you think about your business as a career, I want you to think about like, okay, what am I doing to like make improvements and change my career for this year? And I put in market challenges, like if that is something that you need to think about this, making sure that you are planning your investments potentially. That's like something that you maybe want to check in weekly, depending on what kind of investments you have, who you have like investments with. Currently, like I invest everything that I have into my business, but that could be something that you want to put in your micro, just Google Calendar on Monday, hour one. Going back. And then for macro, this could be like if you need to restructure teams or systems that you have, deciding who to hire. That's a big thing for me this year. Improving leadership skills. Like, okay, I'm going to lead in this way. How am I going to be able to shift these things? And then strategies like I can put into place to grow. So this will be like, you'll see, or I'll explain like that's where you're going to put like webinars and things like that. All of that has to do with the way that you want to do your annual plan. So Lou Holt said, "Don't let life pass you by." And he was one of my dad's like favorites. He would like always quote Lou when we were kids. So I had to pay homage to Jeff there. Now, with the annual goal planning, you guys are going to have a document and it's going to be looking like this. And this is just how my brain thinks. Like, feel free to change it up. And I'm actually changing the way that I did my annual plan. The way that I actually did my presentation in December was I would say like under goal and then like expected and then like exceeding expectations. I forget, the words were like so negative and I like didn't like it at all. So I'm just going to talk you through it and then I'll show you examples next week. And I'll do like, if you want to come next week, I'll have more concrete examples. But like for personal, that's where it's like, okay, you could have a goal of running a marathon or buying a house or something like that. You want to make sure that you're actually putting that stuff on this plan. On it's like a big calendar if you want to think about it like that. And so it's like, okay, and the first, if I want to buy a house this year, what would I need to do? Okay, in the first quarter of the year, probably need to talk with a realtor and like let them know that I'm looking. Second quarter, actually look for a house. Third, put down a deposit. Fourth, move. So do you see how it's like you can just see the whole year like that? And we'll talk about like the 5-year plan, I think like in 3-ish weeks. We'll talk about like goal setting and that. We talked about the 5-year plan before, but what you can do is you can like just copy and paste this. And if you have a goal that trickles into next year, you can just have two, you can just like copy and paste this. Did that make sense? Hopefully, Maria. I'm hoping that actually made sense. Okay, great. Good. So then for relationships, you want to put in things like you could put like those trips in there. I was like torn. Sometimes depending on who I'm doing the annual plan for, sometimes I'll put like trips in the relationships category. Sometimes I'll put the trips in the discovery category. Either or. You could also use this relationships category for networking events. So if you think about like the relationships you're building in your business, you could be like, okay, I'm going to make it a goal to like go to like one big networking event a quarter. Something like that would be helpful to see. Recurring processes. This is where I put the actual money that I would be bringing in. So that's where I would be. And I actually should probably switch these two around because what I actually like to do is I like to be like, okay, if my goal is in the first quarter to have 3 clients, and then the second quarter to have 5 clients, and then the third quarter stick at 5 clients, and then the fourth quarter get to 7 clients, and I'm charging 1,000 per client, I would put here in the reoccurring processes, I would put like $3,000, $5,000, $5,000, $7,000. So just so that I could see that space out a little bit better. I like to do person first and then like do the money later. And it's cool because then you're like, oh, kind of like the projections, like what I was saying last week. It's like, oh, if I just get like 2 more clients, man, I could like actually hit like 100K this year. Like that would be so cool. It's really just a numbers game, and this can help you to like plan the numbers game. So like the goal could be like finish the year with 7 clients. The goal here could be like make 30K in my business this year. Like that's way that you could do it like that. Clearly, I did not have enough caffeine today. I did not sleep well last night. Sorry, friends. But we're doing great. And then like the last category would be discovery and miscellaneous. And this is where you could put like trips and things like that. For relationships, you could also, along with networking, you could put webinars. So what I like to do is, for me, like this was good to see, but I wanted to be even more specific. I was like, okay, like how could I break this down even more? And so that's why I have it down every single month. So it's like, okay, like in the house example, for instance, it's like, okay, like figure out like 5 realtors for February, narrow it down to 2, interview in realtors, and then in March, actually choose 1 realtor. Like that's how broken down I like to be, because you guys know I'm like a little anal retentive, and it's like really great. And it's like it helps me to be that specific because it makes my brain feel really safe. For relationships, you could again put the networking events, you could put webinars, anything that you want to do to like build relationships. For the reoccurring processes, this is where you can put the goal projections that you want to be at. And then for results, you can put the number of people. And also, like, if you, for me in my results category, I'm refilming all these videos for my next class. So that's in July. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend. And I'm choosing to work on the weekends, not because I like want to work over the weekends, but because it actually ends up breaking out. Like, I'm not even going to be working like 30 hours this week. And I would just rather space it out instead of working like the traditional like 9 to 5. I would rather like save my energy and then like do it all in one day instead of just like tracking things like that. The other thing is for miscellaneous, this is like critical to put all of, like the trips that you're taking and like the life that you're living. This is how I've been able to like do all the trips, and I'm making sure that like I've got my like freebies going to get set up this week. I'm making sure that my like email sequence is like on point. I'm doing a webinar next week. That's how I can like go to or went to Savannah this weekend, and I can also make sure that my business doesn't like fall apart. It's like it helps me to just like make sure that everything is in line. The next thing that I do, again, because I am a little bit of a crazy person and I want to make sure that I am really, really, really breaking down my goals, it helps me sometimes to even do it by week. So being like, before I do my Monday hour 1, to have this done, and this is what I like to do. We'll talk about the monthly checklist next week, I think. But like I evaluate on the same, it's like the first Friday, on the first Friday of every month, I go through an evaluation of my business. I go through and I like update this. I update this. Like I make sure everything is updated. I go through my QuickBooks, which we'll talk about later. Like that's when I do the projections, which I showed you guys last week. And I actually plan it out this much, because if I had been like, oh, like I'll just record a module every single um like I'll do like 4, there are 12 videos. So it's like, okay, I'll do like, oh, there's 16. So I'll do 4 videos the first weekend, for the second weekend, for the like, it's like if I just did 4, 4, and 4 for each of the 4 weekends, if my result is to re-record 16 videos. And I just like put it on there. Like if I just like have that on my calendar, and I don't realize that, oh, I'm going to um I'm going to Georgia the first weekend. Can't do it that weekend. I'm not going to be able to do it this weekend. And so like having it all in one place instead of just like having one thing for your business and one thing for your life was so helpful. Also, fun fact, if you guys like have a if you have a relationship with someone who's a father figure, it's Father's Day Sunday. Totally forgot about that until I looked at this and I was like, hey Jeff, we're gonna need to like, let's plan something. Let's get a dinner on Sunday. Just like things like that. So you don't forget like small and large things. So, and I just have, if anybody has any questions, feel free. It like this is for the last group. I need to keep changing these. Again, we're recording it this weekend, so all the slides are gonna look different. It's gonna be great. But are there any questions about that? I know it's a fair amount of information. And like I told you guys, you guys are in my group. So it's like, if you want to submit yours in our group, feel free to submit anything you've got to me, and I can like check over it for you.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah, go ahead.
in each of the sections, do you try like I'm sure you've done this for several years, and I have like I've never really like mixed. Well, that's not true. I don't know. I have this like goal sheet thing that I do at the beginning of each year. It's the majority of it is personal stuff. Anyway, I'm curious. I'm like curious for you. Do you try to like narrow it down to like one thing per category in terms of like one personal thing, one reoccurring process thing, one relationship thing? Or do you like, yeah, I'm curious if you've like played around with that. I feel like kind of what in line with what you were saying about if you just like kind of blindly put stuff on your calendar and then you don't like that's how you end up being like burnt out and like overworked and stuff because you're not considering that like, oh, you have a life and there's how do you balance, Father's Day with the fact that you thought maybe you're going to record videos that day, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like over time, have you noticed that like one per category is like what you do, or do you ever like put more than one thing?
Such a good question. So I a lot of times what I'll do is, and I actually just started doing this in no, or it's like I kind of started implementing it in August of last year. So it hasn't even been a year since I've done this. And I have learned that I'm really, really ambitious, and none of the stuff I have, like I put down as much as I thought I could do. And I thought I was being really like methodical, but it's a process. So like you're gonna like there I feel like two ways to do it. You can either scale up or scale back. So you could be like, okay, I'm going to do one goal per category, and you can always add more. Or you can do what I did and just go balls to the wall. And I was like, I'm going to read like all these books. And like, here, I'll show you guys my screen. Like, this is why I need to change it before the presentation, because it's a hot mess. Like, none of this is what I'm doing. And again, like I said, I do this, I redo it every week, but like, or every month. But sometimes, like, for the past couple of months, like, I haven't been able to update this, I think, since April. I don't know. It's been a while. And so I'm like, it's like this in a perfect world, this is what I would do every single month. But I was like, ooh, okay, I'll read Designing My Life, Your Life. And it's like 272 pages. So if I read 91 pages a month, that's 23 pages a week. That's 10 pages for 3 weekdays. So it's like I've got to read 10. This is how much I broke it down. And like you make plans and the universe is like, ha, like this is what? No, you're not actually going to do any of this. Didn't read a single book. So you just have to get like really comfortable at like moving stuff around and being like, all right, we're towards the end of the second quarter. Don't think I'm going to be able to read 3 books, Profit First, Atomic Habits, and Designing Your Life, in the next like 30 days. Definitely probably not going to happen. But what I did, like, and I thought I was going to do Solo to CEO. And then the person who ran that program, it like teaches you how to hire, she canceled the program completely. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm going to do Master the Media. So instead, I like signed up for like Master the Media. So you just have to get really comfortable at like being able to like, just move things around, like master the media. I did put the goal to read books, and like, so I put like education in here as well. So like instead of doing the 200K modules again, I'm doing master the media modules, and I'm like 6 modules into it. It's extensive. It's like, I'm not kidding you guys, it's 60 hours of 60 hours of like videos, whereas mine are 6. I was like, this is so much. It's very extensive. Also,
Yeah.
can you guys hear the tapping? You can. Okay, cool. There's yard work going on behind us, and it's just like, and I was like, I really hope you guys can't hear this. And that's great. I also had like trips here. So I knew I was going to Mexico. I was supposed to do a presentation for a coaching group. I knew I was going to Kentucky, Greece. I wanted to start with this millennials group. Definitely not going to happen. So like that needs to like be like out of here. Instead of doing a skiing trip, I just went to Boston. I knew I'm doing a 200K trip. It's actually in July, not August. Wing family trip, and then now Rob's family reunion or Rob's family trip. In the fourth quarter, I don't have any trips yet. That will 100% change. And this, I did undergirl, realistic, and stretch. That's why like I hate these numbers. And I also did the wrong numbers. Like I was like, oh, okay. It was done without considering projections and also like working literally all the time. Like this would be if I just wanted to stay at the multiple six figure range. And when I talked with my business coach about it, she was like, yeah, you could coach like 20 people a week for sure. But if your goal is to switch to group more so, you want to make sure that you're like putting in systems for the 7 figures. So instead of like really getting good at bringing in one-on-one clients, I'm getting the systems ready for that. So none of these numbers are accurate. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool. I'm like, no, there's no way I was hitting 510 this year. That would have been so fun. But it's like I need to change the numbers because these numbers change. And then learning how to play guitar instead of June, we're moving this bad boy to August. Cleaning the kitchen, such a need. And we're also like getting the reason why we're cleaning up a lot of the closet and things like that is we needed to we're getting the floors redone in our house. So I don't know if you guys I don't think have seen the chaos that's like going on, but when we were in Greece, they tried to and they weren't able to. So like we got new furniture, like all this stuff, and nothing fits and everything's a bit of a mess. So that's just gonna be the case until further notice. But you can see here, like I've got recertification for the life coach school. Then it's like, so this is what my annual plan looks like quarterly. Again, needs a ton of updating, but I focus more on this every month. So I'm like, okay, shit, like I need to make protocols to train Rob. And then I knew I was going to do the marketing conversion. And I like put a lot of like the instead of like I'll put like the numbers here, but I'll also put like more so like my webinars. And the reason why I have it colored the way that I do is because I'm doing groups. I have like a 6-month cycle that I'm trying to figure out for like how to launch a group. And so it's like this is like just stabilizing with the group. This is ramping up for the next group. And then the gray months are like the like launch months. So you can see like here. That's why it's like in a different color. And like the red month is like group started, group doing like chilling. And then I'm focusing more on one-on-one clients. So like 5-day marketing formula. Instead of course, I was gonna launch a smaller course this year, and this is getting pushed back. I decided last week. But like a lot of things change week to week. So that's why it's like you need to have that ready. Funnel. And like you see, like crossed out a bunch of ideas. Like I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. I was like, because you'll get all these ideas for webinars and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, now that I see that within this year, that doesn't make any sense. Like I'm traveling for the entire month. There's no way that I could have done anything else like that. So I hope that makes sense. Hiring employees.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then like I was really bad about like doing the weekly ones, but like that's what I like try to do. Sometimes like I'll put it in here, but this is just like last year I was feeling like really like especially like I realized like in January I was trying to make all the protocols videos, doing the webinars and stuff like that, and that can be really helpful. And that's what this is. So you guys can see this. This is what it looks like for you. And you can just copy it, save it to your drive, color code it if you want. that is that. How is everyone feeling about that before we take our quick pick and then get started? We feeling good? I'll stop sharing actually. I'm gonna just take a cute little picture of all of us and then we're good to go. Oh, Maria, do you not want to be in the picture today? That's okay. All good. All right, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. And I don't think I posted the picture of all of us last week, so I'll post both of these this week. All right. Who wants to go first? Maria, since you are going on a consult in like the next couple minutes, do you have any coaching that you want to get before that consult happens? Maybe not. All right. Well, let's start with a win. And who would like coaching today? Also,
Oh, go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead and say what you.
Well, I was
gonna
just gonna say,
say.
like, if you ever want me to look over copy, if you want me to look over your email sequence, if you want me to look at your webinar script, your slides, like, this is a time for that. So, like, I can help you with anything. Like, if you're like, hey, can I just share, like, put my annual plan in the chat and we just talk through that? That's what this time is for. Like, it's not just for like there's definitely going to be mindset stuff the whole way through, but there also might be like tactical stuff that you might need as well. So if anybody needs stuff like that, let me know. But okay, Talia, go ahead. And also,
Oh, I see. Maria's back. If she wants anything before she has to jump off, I'm fine to defer.
okay.
Sorry, you guys. I had to run to the bathroom.
Oh, you're totally fine.
Like, do you want to get a picture? Do you want to get like?
It's like, wait a second.
Sorry.
It's like, totally fine. Do you want some? I'm guessing you probably wanted some coaching before this consult. But
I'm feeling good. The only like having a consult is like today is my win. And it's always like kind of funny because I don't know, what was it like last week or the week before? I right now I have like 0 active clients.
Yeah.
And like it was only like a couple weeks ago that the last one was like we had the renewal conversation, and she's like, I'm feeling, I kind of want to like it was like clear, it like the conversation felt really good, which was awesome, but it was like I feel really good, like maybe I want to pick up back in the fall, like you know what I mean, like it just we left it ended on like such a like really, I felt really good about the conversation. I felt like she chose what was like actually really right for her, and I felt like I was able to hold the space without like knowing that this like thing over here of like 0 active clients, like haven't had that since I started my business, which is also like really great and something to celebrate. But and at the same time, it's just funny because like it's been like a thing that's been taking up a little bit of space in my brain, and then of course like I just keep getting evidence. It's like the waves will keep coming. Like it's fine. Like more clients will come. I didn't know that where like I used to, this client or this concept that I have today is a former colleague who's actually more senior than me. And we like worked a lot. We like collaborated a lot, but it's an honor to like for her. It's an honor to be able to do a consult with her, to talk with her about my business, etc. So that's really cool. And they are like a head of a department at an, like they have like a senior role, which is exactly who I'm like wanting to work with anyway.
Mhm.
So that's exciting. I had like debated, but I made the decision to like use a new kind of consult format
Okay.
that that you like introduced to us, and I have it like set up with like my pillars and stuff, and like part of me feels a little bit like I don't know if like nervous. I don't know if it's like nervous. I feel like okay, it's gonna be the first time. And I'm like, part of me wants to be like, no, just do how you do it before, like do it the old way, like the safe way. But there's another part of me that just feels like inspired to like just dive in, not in a way that makes me feel like overly unsafe, but I don't know. It was like I feel like something stuck with me maybe like a couple calls ago that was just like you like the only way you find it was like we were talking about like the only way you find like your groove is by doing just by doing it.
Yeah.
And in some ways like the sheet and having them like go through kind of like where are you at with this, why, what would be a 10 is like maybe more structure than how I've been doing it before. And I think it involves the potential client a lot more. Like the way I used to do it was I have them do an intake, answer a couple questions. And I would prepare ahead of time and like take what they said and then like be like, here are the like I would like organize, I would be like, here are the problems that I see, here's like the solution, and here's like the process. But it was a lot of like me talking actually and like telling them kind of. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity to let themselves guide themselves through like a little bit of the process.
And
So that was just me talking. I'm not sure what I wanted.
well, and I just want
Sorry.
to like kind of like offer, like, I think that I know where you're at. Like, it's almost like, okay, I want to do this new way. And I also know the other way worked. So one thing that I want to offer to you is like, it doesn't have to be either or either. It could be like a mix. Like you're gonna have to find, and again, like I think I told somebody, I think it might have been Demetria, that like the only way you figure it out is by like doing it like hardcore. It's like, who was I talking to? Do you remember that like last week I was like, you're gonna go like all in, and then you're also going to be like, ooh, like I need to pull back. And so it's just like finding that balance of what works for you. And the reason why I really like this for you is you have aspirations of potentially going to a group at a later point, right? So
Yeah.
for you, the reason why I think this is a really great way is like by creating a little bit more structure, is this sets you up really well to scale. And like one of the things, like, I don't know if I haven't told you guys what happened yesterday. But yesterday I was the first day Rob was going to post for me. He goes to post for me and did a great job. Like I walked him through it. It was going great. And then Instagram was like, you've been flagged. Your content has been removed to support the we want to be respectful for the community users. And we couldn't post any other reels. And I was like, oh my God, I've gone an entire month without posting to like see like a lot of the algorithm just going back to business as normal. It was too much and it like freaked the system out. And it was like, you're a liar. No, for literally 3 hours yesterday, I was just on with Instagram trying to figure this out. And the reason why I tell you this is it was not a comfortable situation. It was very difficult in ways that I did not expect. Like, and then like I was getting triggered and Rob was getting triggered, and I was like, this one, like I thought the only problem that my limited perception could perceive was that like I was gonna have control issues, like letting Rob post for me. Like, and he was not gonna do it in the aesthetically pleasing way that I wanted to. That's what I thought the extent of this would be. Not like my whole Instagram getting shut down and like all this other stuff just like came up and it was like, oh my God. Like, so it was uncomfortable, but a fucking necessary growing pain that I had to go through in order to scale. For you, you don't necessarily have to change it right now. But I was like I said, like looking at those numbers, like I could continue to like work my ass off and do it things in like the coaching 20 clients and having 10 people in the group and like all this stuff. But that was like a lot. And I was like, okay, I just need to like slow down a little bit in order to speed up. And it might take a little bit for you to figure out this new consult. But the benefit of it is that, and I'm not sure if we talked about this with the webinars, but eventually you'll be able to do a webinar that flows like this consult and it'll speak to your exact pillars. And just like shake your head if I have not told you that. Have I told you about like doing a webinar in that way? Like where you do like pretty much a consult on a webinar?
You briefly mentioned it.
Okay, cool. He's the first one. But eventually, because you are scaling to group, it is worth it to learn how to sell at the one-on-one level in this way, because that's actually what I did for the interest webinar. That is gonna be that this will be eventually something that I record and is like a for like big picture. This is eventually going to be a sales funnel for me whenever I'm doing group. So instead of having to do one-on-one, it's like you're going to like completely and again, you can scale a business in any way. It doesn't have to be in this way, but a way that makes sense for me is that I was going to go from like what I was doing, which is the same thing that you were doing, like a completely individualized consult that's specific to one person, to something that's a little bit more structured for my group, to a presentation that pretty much walks people through a consult, to then do a consult with me for a group. Eventually, my goal is that this will sell people without even having to do a consult with me. So it'll be like this webinar to like just paid. And then the next level will be like this webinar is just on an ad and people will just sign up evergreen. So like, and this is for anyone who is like looking to like scale to a program. This is the way that it's done from what I've seen in examples. People do it all different ways. But like, I was like, okay, here's the problem. It's like, I'm like, oh, you get burnt out paying for another training or going another year without growth. Oh, by the way, here's a testimonial. So it will work for you. Also, if you're looking for growth seeking, this is a great thing for you. It's been able to like enjoy my business and grow. And then look, problem, solution, program, Q&A. It's literally like the exact format of a consult in a presentation format. So this is why it's really helpful for you to hear their words. Like I heard their words and they were like, oh my gosh, it's like you created a business to get you out of a stressful work environment and now it's the source of your stress. Ironic. Let's fix that. Like, and the reason why I use those words is because that's what I heard on consults. And I was like, oh, it's like, your business can help people, but it's not reason. And essentially it was like, nobody's here. And I was like, the amount of clients isn't reaching your expectations for your business growth. I was like, that sounds better. Like it sounds nicer, but people know what I mean because and then these are the problems that I saw. I was like, all these people were doing trainings and it's like, then I came up with like the business stress cycle. It starts as a fun passion project. And this is actually stuff I got off my website too. So like all this stuff, it's like, it doesn't have to be this way. Why? Less is more. Oh, here's Sarah. She founded this program. And here's your solution. And here are your essentials that you need to manage. You need to organize and you need to organize your resources, which is like the strategy. And you've got to organize your mind, which is the mindset. And you have to like establish your protocols, Oh, here's another. This is Christina, the one who I mentioned last night with the chat GPT. She might come and like give us a little training on that. And then, oh, here's what I do. Fun fact, if these are problems that you're having, this is why my solution is perfect. And this is a lot of you talking at people, but then I had them do like a little poll, an interactive poll. And this is like the exact consult. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10. Now it only lets you do 3 questions. So I had to do manage and deliver together. And I was like, oh, oh, I can help you with this. Look, this is exactly what's in my program. By the way, it worked for Carrie and it could work for you too. Marketing and presenting. Oh, you know what? This is also something that I teach. And here's Demetria. Like, she learned how to do presentations and it could work for you too. Oh, you want to sell and plan? I also teach this. And because of that, Deb was able to like refine her new program. Not only that, do I do this? Like, so it's like, it really like sells people on like, it's like, this is essentially doing a consult in there. And I like actually even like listed like how to do a consult. Like, it's all listed here. Eventually that part will be like missing, but like I literally like had this on there. So I'm sorry, that was such a tangent, but essentially to tell everybody like the reason, like I was always a kid that like asked like, okay, why? Like, why would I change my console? What's why? Like, it's an effort, not sure if it'll work, but it's not necessarily even for your business now, it's for where your business is going, you know?
Yeah. Totally. And I guess to me too, it like signals, I think that if I was like, to me, it signals that I'm also like, if I feel like I use the new format and I'm like shaky and I'm like, you know, what, like, it's, I don't feel as like smooth in the call, that I will like blame that on like, if they say no, then it's like, you know, oh, I should have used the old format, but I'm like open to that being the reality and not like blaming it on that and being okay with like, I don't know, if for me on the inside, I feel like even more kind of confident, like if this consult doesn't turn into a client, more consults will happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to, like, not like you have to in a forceful way, but like moving towards where you like how you want to do things, or like if I honestly like want to try this new format, like trying it now is as good of a time as ever.
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
like I don't feel like overly nervous about what if that's the reason this doesn't work. I just don't feel like that will be true. And that feels really good, is my point.
Well,
I'm
and
like, it's fun.
like what I would also love for you guys to do it as you're doing consults and things like that. If you want to post your evaluation in the feed, if you feel comfortable like doing that, I would love to give you feedback too. Like, let's say the consult doesn't like, turn to a client, like, okay, like if it was a true no, then that's part of business. Like, we don't want every consult to be a yes. Like, it was interesting. One of my friends was talking to me the other day and she was like, yeah, like if they say no, then I didn't do a consult right. And I was like, no, there's like, we don't want everyone to be a yes. We never want that to be the case. Like, that's not the goal of having a business. It's for people to make the right decision for them in the time that they have. So within that, we want to also make sure that like you are um like not just it, like you might be missing something that like if you for some reason like when you're locked in, like for me it's like I'm sure if I talked to somebody about hiring, they could have been like, hey, I know that you're concerned about this, have you thought about like what you're gonna do like with like if your nervous system gets dysregulated, because like that happened for me and here's how I solved it. If I talked to somebody about it before or after, or and I am after, but I'm like, oh, now I can fix it for next time, instead of thinking like if there was something that maybe that could be improved potentially with the consult process. There always is. I don't think there's ever time and you could like be like, yep, nailed it for life. It's like I think like even like people who teach sales like me, it's like I always think I could totally improve. So post your eval and like let us know if there's like anything that like you felt weird about and you're like, oh, this did not land. Like, and we can
Yeah, I would love
share.
that. Okay, I'm gonna jump off so I can get in the zone. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week.
Amazing. All right. I love you, lady. If anyone has any feedback for Maria, feel free to, I'll put it in the notes here if you want. And then, or we could like post it in the stream too.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You
Thank
got it. Does anyone I'm pretty sure Maria has been very open to feedback. Does anyone have any thoughts for her before we get into other coaching? If she watches this back.
No, I think it just sounds like the thing that I was thinking about, and it sounds like she's already there, is like at some point you have to like do something new for the first time. Like you have to have the first pancake that gets all like messed up in order to like get the pan ready for the rest of them, you know? So like you got to get the messy first pancake out of the way. And it sounds like she's on board with that.
Yes. And like that is something that I did not realize. Like it's like, and like I think the thing with business, I think it's just like the best form of self-development ever, because there's just like a no point when you stop making pancakes, or like it's like you've made waffles before and muffins. So like you're like, okay, well, like I know how to make a baked good. Like I kind of know how this first pancake's gonna go. And then all of a sudden it's like the pancake happens and you're like, oh, this is nothing like the muffin. It's like this is not what I was expecting.
It's so much easier to screw it up.
It's so well, it's just like, and it's like I think that's like what I realized. Like I literally like I have not had a panic attack in a very long time. And this morning I literally woke up and just had a panic attack. And I was like, what is happening? It's like it's been so long, but I knew it was happening. Like, so it's like I was able to, it was so weird. I've never had this happen before where I was like having a panic attack, but I was also like, I know I'm having a panic attack. And I was able to go like worst case scenario and be able to like talk myself down. I was like, okay. And I'm like, I see your younger self that's trying to protect me in a very aggressive way. And I like, we're okay. But it's just like, you don't like, it's like, and that's why like, and I'm really glad that you're trying the group too, is like another thing. It's like, why not? Like at some point, like it's like you gotta just like if you feel called to do it, like give it a shot, and at least we can help you problem solve it, like depending on what's going on. So I'm really proud of you for like just going bold, going big. To be sure, same with you with your like notebook and stuff like that. I know the Wi-Fi is crummy at the beach, but like super, super excited to see what comes from like all these like new learning experiences. Like I've never sold a product like that's separate from like a program. So I'm like really excited to help you. If you have any difficulties with that, Demetria, too, like please let me know. Like, and I can try and help you problem solve it too. So awesome. Talia, give me a win and let's get coach over for you.
I think a win would be I just like cannot be deterred from this. And I don't have a specific thing like I necessarily want coaching on. I just kind of like want to talk through like the cycle that I can observe in myself. So like I had last week, or maybe it was the week before, I had that consult and she was a yes. And we're probably starting today. She hasn't paid yet, but like I think it's happening. We're like having our first group coaching session, which is the two of us today. And I had several conversations about it and like had some people interested. Like one woman I met with wants to like pay for one of her employees to do the group, you know, so it's like things are happening out there. And another friend I met with like is going to send it to one of her employees, you know, so it's like, it's good. And I'm finding myself like my brain just really wants to go back to that place of like I'm on the edge of my comfort zone right now. And I just like have to keep moving forward in discomfort. Like it's not going to get more comfortable anytime soon. And so like my brain just keeps wanting to like pull me back. And I can see myself like wanting to just like let my emotions swing with the circumstances. Like, so the first conversation, I had like a coffee with a couple of people. And when I told them my price, one of them was like, "Oh, that's an investment." And I was like, "Mm-hmm, it is." And then like the second coffee date I had, I told her the price and she's like, "Oh, that's not bad." So it's like I could easily just like think I'm overpriced, think I'm underpriced, like with everyone else's opinions. And so I think that's just like the thing that I'm focusing on right now is like I don't know where this came from, but I really want to do it. I'm committed to making it work. I'm going to figure it out along the way. And also I'm experiencing so much discomfort.
And like one of the things that like I have realized is when you're experiencing a lot of discomfort, I would love to help you build out a vision for like what this is becoming. And like kind of like what I was doing with Maria, being like, hey, like this is why you're experiencing this discomfort. It's worth it. So like when we're thinking about this group, when we're thinking about like it's like what made me think of this is you're like, I don't really know where this came from, but like it's happening. It's like, let's get really clear about like who you're becoming because of this group. What is the like, and I was thinking about like for me, I'm like, I want to create a movement that like having a business is it's a safe career to have, so you can create like give your gifts and talents to the world along with creating work-life balance so that it doesn't become your whole world. Like that's like my vision and like my mission. So if you were to think about like what is the mission behind, like you also are working with people who are aspiring like and like talk me through like the bigger picture for your business and I can help you build out like this amazing idea for it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think right now, what like one of the most painful experiences of my life was feeling like completely stuck and paralyzed in fear and like knowing I wanted to do something, but like just not being able to move. And then I find like inertia wanting to pull me back, like when I'm working in my own business, back to that place where I'm just like stuck in a hole. And
Mhm.
so I just want to create a place for people who like they can like and I think calling it a group, I think I've realized that like calling it a group probably isn't the right, it's more of a program than a group. I think it's like the coaching is delivered in a group environment, but I think that like conceptualizing it as a group right now, it doesn't make sense because it's not like really a group. So I'm just that's a like a footnote that I think I'm gonna start calling it a program. But what I want is to create a place where entrepreneurs can come to, it's called the Momentum Lab, to
Love it.
like build and stay in momentum, like get the flywheel turning, keep the flywheel turning, and like never get stuck. Like this is the place you can come if you're feeling stuck. And you just want to like create sustainable and aligned action.
Great. Aligned action. Okay. I think this is so amazing and it's so needed. So I just want you to like just take a minute and like for me, I like to close my eyes and I just like to picture like all these people. So I want you to picture like this one person and then two people and then five people and then 10 people and then 15 people and just like looking at them in the Zoom meeting, coming to you with their problems, feeling so heard, feeling like they are just getting right back instead of being stuck, they're moving. I want you to just like feel that and all these people. And I want to know with that like vision, what what kind of an entrepreneur, like where are these people? How can we bring them to you? Like where are they looking for help right now? How can they identify that you're the perfect person for them?
So I'm like kind of having uh trouble generalizing it, but let me just tell you like a couple of the people that for some reason are like being drawn to me. Like I've had like a like new real estate agents.
Mhm.
um so they're in like a highly competitive market, and they are like they have to like get out and like they think they have to hustle, but like they have to like get out and build relationships in order to make this business successful. It's got a super high failure rate, you know? And so it's like those are the people where like it's similar to coaching. Like there's a really low barrier to entry, but a high barrier to success. So
Ooh,
it's like I want to like catch those people like who the low energy state would be for them to give up and go get a job. But like if they're the ones who can like outlast, like go do the work, build the relationships, like they can be really successful and have an amazing business.
mhm.
So like that's kind of like the stage of people.
Mhm.
Well, there's two. There's like the new people who like need to get over the tipping point of like getting established. And it's just like so hard and painful. And then like the other group of people are like kind of at a like stuck point where like they have an existing business but they don't feel a sense of purpose. So I think it's kind of a similar like same flavor, different time in the cycle of just like um needing to create like clarity and momentum towards a vision.
Yeah. And I think that like what we want to do is we want to sell them on like we want to sell both of them, and they might be in like two different states. So
Mhm.
like one of the things I was thinking about is like I would love to work with people who are in like creating they have a side hustle and they have a full-time job. And I was like, that's such a great area. However,
Mhm.
I want this to be like, and I think that there are definitely people who like are working full time and still are doing this. Like, try to think about in our group. When Sarah was contracting, she had actually, you know what's interesting? Last round, that was like everybody. This round, it's like you guys are all more so my ideal client because not that it wasn't like, and again, ideal client doesn't mean that like everyone in the last group was perfect, just like you guys are perfect, but like I think this program is really great for if you've got like time and you need like a map. And I'm like, if you've got time, this is a great time for you guys to like get your systems done, set, so you can scale very quickly instead of like I think a lot of people in the last round because they had multiple jobs, I think it was like they really had to be very like intentional about their time to make the systems work. So
Totally.
which do you think would be like a very easy population to hit? And I think you're going to hit both, but who's
Mhm.
willing to invest and knows how to invest, but also doesn't like it's like which would be an easier one for you to talk to and like I'm thinking about like getting you in front of like to do presentations and like do those kinds
Mm.
of, like
Yeah. Um Well, the thing I like about the like I'm thinking of the real estate agents, but it could be anybody who's like starting their own like business that like requires their their energy. Like those people are like really hungry, you know, like they like they're in a different state of mind than someone who's like 20 years into a career and is like, ugh, like I want something like I want something better than this, you know? Like the ones who are like getting started are like hungry and motivated, and like goal driven. And so I think that that's kind of what I put in some of my, like I made a sales page this weekend and like that's what I put. And like you are someone who's like goal driven and motivated but doesn't have a clear sense of direction, or you know exactly what you want to do but you don't know how to get there, or you're like on your path and like hustling but feel like you're worried about burning out because you're not in aligned action, right? Like so I think that's really important to me as I'm thinking about it, is like the motivation level. Like I want it to be somebody who's really driven. Hold
Yeah.
on just a second. I forgot to close my browser and my work phone's ringing. Just a second.
No worries.
There we go.
Maybe
Still like
well, like, so now that I say that, like, okay, so I want you to picture people who are newish, they're hungry, they're ready, they're just getting started, they're motivated, goal driven, and they're goal oriented and driven.
mhm,
I want you to picture like leading those people. And they're like,
mhm,
oh, I just hit a roadblock, and you're like, let me break that roadblock and we go. How
mhm.
does that feel when you think about that?
I mean, that feels great. I feel like that's like I was looking for that. Like I wanted that so badly. And like it took me a really long time to just like figure it out on my own. Um and like I think it would feel amazing to like have somebody come to me and be like, I feel stuck, I don't know what to do. And like be able to just like help shepherd them through like, this is normal, nothing's gone wrong. Like this is a cycle you're going to get into over and over. So like we're going to like learn the skills right now to like feel this feeling of stuck and move through it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
To help them grow. Okay, so like take a look. It's like this is what it's like I made what I needed, which is like one of my favorite thoughts. Like I know exactly how to shepherd them through. I'm ready to help them gain skills they need to help and grow. I feel great and amazing. And it's like thinking about like these emotions, it's like we want, and like maybe think of some more like descriptive ones that you can like place in your body, like directed, motivated, like inspired, like whatever emotions that like could drive you. Because as you know, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get in it, and then the thing that's always so fun is like we experience the same struggles that our clients experience, just at a different place.
Totally.
So it's going to be like, okay, how can we make sure that we overcome those things? How can we make sure that like that we're ready for it? So within that, if you're feeling like great and amazing, what, and this is something that I literally did yesterday, so I hope this can be helpful for you guys too. Um, and the one thing I do consistently do, the monthly eval, I've been like kind of funky about, like, but the weekly eval, it's like when I'm doing this, like I make sure that I have here, I was like, okay, so like if I'm organizing my business, it's like the thing is like I want to help people. I'm like, organize their business and just tell them what to do. I'm like, that's all I wanted. It's like I just want somebody to tell me what to do, give me a starting place. And I was like, these are the service-based entrepreneurs that are looking to organize their business. And I think I talk about systems, but I don't talk about like organization. I think the systems is something that I didn't realize needed an educational component. And I was like, okay, so I need to like educate people. And the way that I am like showing people what's possible is I'm going to show them how to take back their time with the annual plan. I realized that a prerequisite to that is Monday hour one. Like what I was just teaching you guys today, I was like, oh, in order to like even be able to like do the six-figure systems program, they need to have like the weekly planning down. This is just kind of like a bonus. So it's like, I'm going to have this as a bonus, but this is also going to be included. And I'm recording this weekend as well. I'm recording this weekend, but I'm like, okay, who it's like, I know that like for all the people who are not in the life coach school world, Monday hour one is a concept that like most of them have never heard. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Monday hour one for anyone that's not a life coach, and then annual plan I'm gonna do for anyone that's in the life coach school. So it's like it's good to have both presentations. So for coaches, I was like, I can contact like marketing coaches, sales coaches. Sarah, and I told Sarah, I was like, we could do that as well. Rob got really into a game and I just heard him like scream and I was like, okay, all right, we're good. My friend Jewel, who's coming to talk to you guys in 2 weeks, I can go to certifications. I can do college entrepreneurial groups, other entrepreneurial groups, podcasts. If they've left, like it's like anyone who's left a former career, I can ask, and then I'm going to do like a pitch for them. So for you, if you're thinking about like what is and I just like I feel like presentations because you're already doing one this Friday, right? Which I
Mhm.
just saw and I was like, I need send me that and I will like I'll repost it and be like, look at my people. I'm like, and if other people want to join it, they can. Like, I think it'd be so cool. So what would you want to like what kind of presentation? Like for me, I was like, oh, they need to hear Monday hour one. For you guys, like what do they need to hear to be like, oh my gosh, she's the one that can help get me unstuck? What's like something quick that you could teach, mini win, and let's think about like how to get you out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think for me, like if I saw something like how to get unstuck, just like,
And I'm gonna chat like let's get a little bit even more like it's like because unstuck that could be like in a marriage, that could be in a career,
yeah,
it could be like in so it's like maybe something like
yeah.
how to get your business unstuck.
Um, yeah, I mean, it could be I guess I'm just thinking of my experience, and I was like, my feeling of stuckness like permeated my entire life. Like I kind of thought it was about my business, but it was like I was not working out. I wasn't like able to move forward in my business. I was like I felt like I was just like spending all day like staring off into the distance. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, I think when I think about like stuckness feels like a state of being to me, but maybe it probably would be appropriate to just be like, you know, how to get your business moving forward or something like that.
What would you let's go in a different direction. What would be the thing that you would teach them for the mini win?
Oh, for the mini win. Can you say more about that? Like what that would look
Yeah.
like?
So it's like for me, I want to teach people that like for I'm gonna switch around this like six-figure systems webinar. And the way that it's like I'm gonna be like, here are the 6 metrics to track, and I'm gonna have a question for each. So like by the end of this webinar, you're going to have the 6 questions you need to make your business grow. For the marketing formula one, which I really liked, but I actually have decided to like I'm not actually going to utilize this for um I'm not sure if I'm going to utilize this for a freebie. It might be something like I run later, but like I'm glad it's recorded, but I'm not necessarily going to use it. So what I did for step 4, I'm pretty sure I had listed, is I was like, okay, think about each of these categories. And I'm like, okay, how are you it's like, how are you planning? What are your results? How are you
Mm.
managing? And like this last page, okay, you can see it here. I was like, I knew I had it somewhere. This is my consult.
Mhm.
So like, it was like, where are you now? It's like, I called it I think I called it the business planning because I had the marketing audit here, and it's like, I should have said like 6-month business planning. Oh yeah, what's your growth plan for the next 6 months? But like, that's something that's valuable for people, even if they like just walk away with it, that gives them like a starting point. Another like way that I was like, each day I tried to give a little win. So on the first day, hold on, I've got like notes. It's like exciting news. No, that's not it. I have it somewhere where I had maybe it's here. I will find it. I had it somewhere else. But within the whole presentation, each day I had like a little win, or a little, oh, here it is. Like, so it was like every day I wanted to give them a little win. So I was like, okay, where are you marketing currently? How much time are you spending on each outlet? That's a little win. For people to know, it's like, okay, here's where I'm working, here's the time I'm spending. It's not something that is um it's not something that's like gonna make their business like it's going to be something that can change the course of someone's entire business when they realize how much time they're spending on each outlet, and they're like, oh my God, I'm spending all this time on a place where nobody's come. And it's like I think on day 1, I was like, hey, um it's like, here are all the problems. You're spending time on outbound marketing when you need to be spending time in interactive marketing. That's why you to know where you're currently marketing. Okay, for
Okay.
day 2, I like, and I would just do this like all in one presentation. Those 2 questions could be enough to change the course of someone's business. Like if
Got
they
it.
tested day 1, the next one is like, I showed my marketing formula and I showed them how to do conversion rates. And then I was like, okay, where did your past clients come from? And the conversion rate. Like that was what step 2 was. So it's like, if someone's never done a conversion rate before, that could have changed the course of their business. For
Right.
3, I was like, okay, you're going to figure out your formula, you're going to figure out your source, and you're going to predict how many clients to get for the rest of the year. Like,
Okay.
huge,
Got
you
it.
know? So it's like, but it's not necessarily giving them like it's not telling them like, okay, I'm going to tell you every single thing that you ever would need to get your business unstuck. It's just one little thing, like what's either the biggest or simplest. Is like, that's the way I usually pick the little ones. And to make sure this goes for you too, because I definitely want you to like, I know that you did the branding, but like, I think that this could also be really helpful for you. It's like, what's the biggest or simplest win you could give them that they could implement within like 5 to 7 minutes?
Okay. So let me talk through the presentation that I've like this, the one, how to start a business, the one
Yeah.
that I'm doing. So like, I get questions, like people come to me as a lawyer and they're like, I want to start a business. Like, can you form my LLC? And I'm like, sure. Like, how many clients do you have? And they're like, none. I'm like, okay, you don't need an LLC. So like the win like that I give them in that presentation is like, stop worrying about like, you don't need an LLC, you don't need a business license, you don't need a logo, you don't need a website, you need clients. So like, this is the one thing that I want you to focus on. Like, until you've made $12,000 in your business, like you don't need any of that stuff. Like at minimum, that's like the state threshold. So like, is that what you're thinking? Like,
Yes. And
okay.
maybe like talking to them about like one way they could like bring more clients, or it's like
Yeah, I do. So like, that's the rest of the presentation is like how to get clients, like how to like meet people and connect with them and that sort of thing.
talk me through that, and I might talk me through the way that you talk about it. And if you want to show me your presentation, like I could also talk you through that too.
Sure. Yeah, I can send it to you. I'm gonna revise it. Like having delivered it once, I'm gonna that's my on my to-do list for this afternoon. But like, so I just kind of walk them through like my version of the like meet people, tell them what you do, and like, and I say like provide value to them, and then invite them to work with you.
Uh-huh. Provide value. Ask them to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay. After your presentation, it's almost like I think that the tricky part, and this is something that like I have had a lot of trouble with personally, is I want to teach them, but I also want their next step to be to come to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, like I want them to do these things and we want to give them the micro win. And we also don't want their next step to be like, oh, I'm just going to talk to, it's like, unless you want them to come to you after that 12K mark, we want to make sure that they come to you before the 12K mark. You see what I'm saying? And like, I think that what I would think sometimes is like the natural step after, like for me, for Monday hour one, I need to figure out how I'm going to switch it because right now I just teach them how to do Monday hour one. The next step for them is to do Monday hour one. Instead, I want their next step to be like, oh, I need Megan to help me. So it's like, I'm thinking for me, for my Monday hour one is being like, all right, almost like more of a 24-hour audit thing and being like, think about how much time you're spending in your business. If these are, and you could do the same exact thing. It's like, if it is not a client generating activity, mark it off your calendar. If you don't know what client generating activities are, that's what I teach in my program. You see what I mean? It's like this is what I teach you how to do, unless you don't.
No, I do. Like building relationships is like a pillar of the program. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like but you could also swing it this way. You could also swing it in another way where you're like, if you don't know how to build relationships, like this is the basics, but there's way higher levels in order.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that I feel like that's not giving too much because it's just like my own experience. Like I had that, like I got roughly that from like the 2K program, right? And when I heard that, I was like, okay, cool, that's simple. But like, how, like how do I do that? It sounds scary. Uh like I need somebody to hold my hand through it. So I think that
Mhm.
like making that connection of like it is simple, but like getting yourself to go do it and like not freaking out every time you meet somebody and they don't like sign up to work with you, like that's what I help you with.
Yes. It's like, I love that. It is like, that's the way you need to sell it, is like, it's really simple. It's like, it's, of course, that makes sense. But it's like, if you are getting to these, like that's where you need to have this presentation go.
Yeah.
And so in order for like them to identify that that's the problem, it's like you can give that as the solution, but then be like your process. So it's like when you're doing like the webinar like formula that like I taught you guys, is like being like, yeah, like of course this is how you, that's not the real problem. The problem is, it's like the problem is, it's not that you don't know that this is how a business is built. The problem is
Yeah.
you're not doing it. Why are you not doing it?
Right.
And if they can identify the why here, like it's like that's what I want this presentation to be around. It's like, why aren't you doing this? If once they identify the why, that's an even bigger, like it's like that this is like the initial like it's almost like for me, for the example with this marketing formula, like the first day I'm like outbound versus interactive. I'm like, I want that to be like a whoa breakthrough for them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not the real. It's like, so it's like the real problem. It's like, so this is a problem. You're doing this, but the real problem is you don't have a predictable formula to make your marketing work.
Right.
That's what
So yeah, so for my people then it's like this is like, you know, this, you just have to go out and meet people, and that's where your clients are going to come from, but either you're not doing it or you're quitting when it gets hard.
So it's like you can be um it like this is okay, so why aren't, like, tell me, like, in your words, for your people, like, why aren't they doing this? Is it a thought problem? Is it a feeling problem? Is it an action problem? Like, what? It's probably all three.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, like at the very beginning, it's a thought problem that like translates to their energy. Like they're going out and the people that they're meeting, they're treating them like potential clients and they're being creepy.
Mhm.
Right. Like they're going out with like an agenda to like get clients.
Mhm.
And they're what they need to be doing is having the like the thought and the goal, like I'm building a robust network. I'm building relationships, and like that's my clients are actually going to come from referrals from these people. So like I don't need to go meet clients, I need to go meet the people who are going to introduce me to my clients. And but if you go with the like an agenda to meet clients, you're gonna like come across as a used car salesman.
Uh-huh. And so it's almost like you could be like, it's like the biggest reasons why, it's like there are like three, and you could be like the three personality trait. It's like it'd be like these are like the three personas that what's an opposite of momentum and inertia? Like uh that stuck, like it's like the three stuck personas maybe that stop you from building momentum. And like you could have that as the other. It's like we got the creeper, we got the like
Yeah,
got the the and like make it funny, like, you know, it's like you
yeah,
can have your personality in it. That's what I would do, would be like, it's like
yeah.
we got the creeper over here, we got the
The
we got
person who's just hiding.
yeah, it's like we got creeper Cam, we got burnt out Betty, we got like all these. It's like so making it funny and being like, this is, it's like it's like this is how creeper Cam turns into like communicative Cam, and this is how burnt out Betty turns into bubbly Betty. It's like something like, it's like something like that, like
Yeah,
make it funny and be like, it's like, or like you could even make it like something fancy, like attachment styles. Like you could be like, it's like, this is why, it's like the attachment styles that stop you from building. It's like we need to get to like a secure relationship, you know?
yeah,
Who's fake busy? Oh, so good.
yes,
Like
so good.
so good to
I know.
meet you.
I can just say like yes to Mitra. I'm like trying to find an emoji.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's like there's a fake busy person, then there's a burnt out Betty. And it's like, and you could be like, I know it sounds silly, but like this has like this has and like you could actually relate it back to attachment styles. And like I don't know if you know much about attachment styles. I'm like just like dipping my
Yeah.
toe in. But I think that could be a really cool like way to be like, this is what happens. It's like, where are the fun attachment styles? They're somewhere. Yeah, here. And being like, oh, it said no. But like having, or like being like, this is what your nervous system is doing. Like it's like this is
Yeah.
the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. It's like these are actually
Right.
responses. This is why it happens. That's why you need a coach to help you with your mindset, you know? Content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love this to be true. I'm like, yes. It's like And if you can be like, this is why they're in different states of the I think know a lot about the nervous system. So you could be like, speak a little bit to like maybe the polyvagal theory, like a way that
Yeah.
like present yourself as an expert that like, because like right now the presentation, and Demetria, we can talk through yours too, is like, it's like, this is their next step versus like, oh, I need Talia to help me because like, I don't know how to regulate my nervous system. I don't know how to get out of this.
Right.
This group will help you get out of the attachment style. This program will help you get out of the nervous system. It'll teach you how to regulate your
Mhm.
nervous system.
Yeah. Okay. That's really helpful.
You know what I mean? And so like, is
Mhm.
there anything that like comes to mind? Like, does that land for you? Because I'm like, I just want the next step for them to be like, oh, this program's the next step. Because like for me, like it would be like, oh, I'm gonna make my annual plan. Oh, I'm gonna make my like, and it would be like the annual plan is like the reason why I'm remaking this presentation. I'm like, the annual plan is just like a larger symptom for like disorganization in your business. Like,
Right.
and I help you get organized with all the pieces of your business. So like that's like it's like the problem is you don't have an annual plan, but the real problem is that like it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah. So I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think the next presentation I want to do is actually just how to get clients, which is going to be very similar to this, but I think it will appeal to people who are like trying to like already started and trying to grow their business. Um, because I think that like that's the whole thing about business, right? Like all of this stuff is like in service of like getting clients and making money, right? So like for people who are like feeling stuck in business, it's because like they don't have clients. They like
Oh
don't have
no.
enough clients.
Sorry, I realized that my keyboard isn't letting me type, and I was like, it probably just needs to be plugged in. And then I knocked a wire, and I thought I lost you guys.
Oh,
Okay, so it's like how to get clients can be the next one,
yeah.
like about this, and
Yeah.
it's like, I think like so that this is maybe like this situation kind of
Yeah.
good. So how to get clients. Next presentation will be this.
Yeah.
For the how to start a business, I would say that like
I mean,
it's
it's still going to be that for how to start a business too. I'm just going to rebrand it as how to get clients for the people I didn't capture and how to start a business.
it could be like I think that could be really, really helpful for you.
Yeah.
I love this. This sounds awesome. Um, do you have any like questions about like what to do? Or are you feeling good?
No, that I appreciate you taking so much time to talk through that. And
Yeah.
thanks to Demetria for coming along on the ride with me. Cause like getting through that, like little win, but showing them like how they need more help and how coaching is perfect for them makes so much sense to
Mhm.
me. And that is like part of why I wanted to rework this webinars because I realized there was like, I didn't give them like a clear invitation. I didn't show them like why coaching will help them. And like I didn't give them a clear invitation to work with me. I mean, I did do like a like little subtle one at the end, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes good sense. I want to like spend more time giving
Yeah,
that out of
that's
my
a
head.
lot of information, and I'm really excited. I think this is going to be such a powerful rework for like not just this presentation, but for like every presentation. It's like,
Yeah, just figuring, I want to figure out how to get the formula of this like in my own like words on paper because this is like really useful.
good, good. I'm so glad. Are you open to like any feedback from Demetria?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
okay, awesome. Demetria, any other thoughts? I don't know if you want to unmute or just like put it in the chat, and then
Oh, I am unmuted.
there you go. Perfect.
Okay, yay. Sorry, y'all, that I thought the internet was going to be so much better here, but I think they might be doing construction. But I think that and you might be able to hear it now. I think that your presentation is going to be great. And I think rebranding it for how to get clients, I think that is going to be, that's going to be a game changer. Because I mean, you're right. When you were talking, I was like, oh yeah, I probably, because I got the LLC before I needed it.
I
guess
did too.
technically I still don't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
me too.
okay, I'm like, this probably would have been good information to have. So,
Yeah.
and it may be like when you're doing your marketing, like you have a good idea, you want to start a business, but pause for just a beat and let me tell you these things or something like that. Because
Mhm.
yeah, I thought I was doing all the right things and being really smart, like getting all the stuff. And yes, it's in place now, but I could have been spending that time on getting clients. So,
Yeah,
you know, the meat of the
same.
business.
Yes. I love that. And I think that like that could be like what I put like in this one where I was like, it's like the problems. It's like they put all this effort, time, and education, but they're not doing the things. Like, so it's like
Mhm.
having something like this too could be really like just I think the same thing that like it's like, okay, it's like you're spending all this time like on social media, you're spending all this time, it's like you're trying to talk to all these people, but it's just like isn't clicking, and then no one's converting and you feel really burnt out. It's like those are like the three problems. And then if you want to get into those personality styles, like that could be a way. But I think that sounds I'm totally with you. It's like the how to get clients. Like this is spinning wheels in my head. I'm like, oh, how could I like change like my presentations have a better title because it's like I really struggle with like it's so basic, and I think it's just not a strength for me to be like, oh, this is so simple, how to get clients, how to have work-life balance. Like that would probably have been a better than like annual plan. It's like makes more sense learning and growing right along with you guys. So
Yeah. No,
love it.
it's something I've thought a lot about too, is like because this is a trap that I've gotten in, is like um I tend to like want to title things like with the process, but like what people really want is the result, right?
Mhm.
So like title it with the result so they know what they're getting, because like the process is what you're going to teach, but like they don't care. They don't care what the process is.
Yep. That's so good. Thank you. I'm gonna keep that in mind for myself. It's gonna be so good. I love this. I think I did double your work in half the time. So at least that was something that was like kind of ish,
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, that's good for
To
sure.
what can I help you? Is there anything that you want help with? Do you want us to like talk through the time audit and MHO present Monday hour one presentation? Or you
Um, I think well, I know I'm going to go back and redo it. So I'm using my planner now is another freebie. Well, that's not true. It's not free. Another lead magnet. So with the planner, I have a short video that I'm going to put up. There's a QR code in there, and when they order it, they can go look at the short video on tips to use the planner. And then I'm also going to direct them to I think it's Take Control of Your Time was the name of my presentation. I'm going to rename it How to Have More Time. I had a name in my group, but I'm going to redo that presentation. I'm going to do it in the group, record it, and then put it up. So if anybody who buys a planner wants to go look at that, they can have a little bit more information from me and then an offer for a consultation. But that was one of the problems with the presentation, just like you said, like I gave them Monday hour one, and then what was next? Like, why then do they need to work with me? And I think it's yes, you have the tools, but are you really going to use them? That's where I come in.
yeah,
And so putting that kind of into words in the presentation,
yeah. You
the selling piece in the presentation.
and like a way that you can like it's like put the planner into practice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like this puts the planner into practice. Like when you work with me, it's like you are going to make sure that you implement and apply these tools so that your life looks like unrecognizable and is truly curated. Like that's the issue. It's like the issue is not that you don't know how to use a planner. It might be like the prompts. It's like that's it's like the planner is like it's like the first powerful set. It's like powerful step. And unlike any planner you've ever used before, you've used before. And then the second step is to curate your whole life. And
Okay.
you see what I'm saying? It's like this is the first step. And so what I actually put here, Natalie's coming to she's gonna come on my Instagram this Thursday, I think it is. And she is in that Master of the Media program. And
Mhm.
she helped to talk through how to create a freebie. And I would love to have her like come on and do like a Q&A like Sydney did about like how to do an email sequence and how to grow your email list. But
Okay.
this is like she's like make it shorter for the freebie, which is perfect. It's like, and again, it's not necessarily a freebie. It's like you're gonna do the with the planner. And
Right.
for me, I'm doing
It's
a testimonial template. Sorry, go ahead.
it's kind of an add-on for
Yep.
them.
On planner. Is there, and I think of like, yeah, I think that works. It's like, yeah, well, I'll have to ask her about that and make sure
Okay.
like that it shouldn't be like, because she's done this for like lots of people. So I don't know if
Mhm.
it, like this is just like the science behind an email list. And this is like when you are like, I don't know if you said you have your emails through Squarespace. I remember you saying that last night. But for
Yes.
everybody else, what it'll look like, there'll be some sort of way that you'll have a form somewhere and it'll take them to some sort of thing like a workflow. And then instead of having this, where it's like, here is the formula, it's mine's gonna be like 7 emails that'll like, and you'll do like post, it's like time delay, wait 1 day, email, no email selected. It's like you can duplicate an existing email or create a new one. It's like
Right. Yes.
I'm gonna put this in there. It's like that's what I'm gonna start doing. This is kind of like a more advanced skill. You definitely don't need to do this. Like, but if you're like, it's like I'm gonna do like quick videos and be like product awareness. And because that I created this program, and let me tell you, I'm thinking Amber might be a good one because I'm talking about like work-life balance a lot. And I'm like, she's taking 3 months off to go to Asia. I'm like,
Mhm.
pretty jazzy. Um, you can do that too. And then like here are the services, like here's how you do a consult, here's what you need to do to sign up. I'm gonna have a sales page for one-on-one also up, and then the FAQ money back guarantee, and then a bonus. So it's like, and that's where I'm gonna change it to be my Monday hour one.
Right.
And then
Yeah. So I do have, and I have this. I need an email sequence for the planner because I will capture their email address when they come to look at the little video on the tips on how to use it. I do capture their email address. So then I do need a sequence for that because I do have a sequence for my other freebie or for my actual freebie. Make room for what you love. So I do have that. I just need to get one in place for the planner.
for make room for what you love, is that like a printable?
It's a PDF. They can print it or they can just read it on their device.
Yeah, because that's, and then maybe you could have like, if you sign up for a consult within the next 7 days, I'll give you the planner.
Ooh.
For that could fly in. For everybody. And then like specifically on the planner page,
Mhm.
having like a smaller sequence, but like then you could have that there. I think that could be an addition. It's like, by the way, if you sign up now, I will send you a planner for free.
Yeah, just try that for a while for
Yeah. I think,
consults. That's a good idea.
just so you can get more consults and things like that going in. And anybody else can you feel free to use this. This was like, she did this with me in like 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, great. I'm like that because it's like I've never made an email sequence before. I've never built like an email list. So I just had like my typical like, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. But like now it's like this is like a lot more legit. And I'm pretty sure I was trying to describe it last night. Like, I don't know if this made sense, but even if they're in this sales sequence, they'll still get my other emails. I'm pretty sure. So like, or they'll exit the flow and then they'll just be a part of my email list. So like I don't need to be like specifically being like, hey, if they like get a planner, then I'm also adding them to my email list. And I'm gonna add at the bottom here and being like, sign up for the consult. If and then being like, if Monday hour one, and then being like, if not, then I'll be it's like totally cool. Like I'll be helping you curate your life in weekly emails.
Okay.
So it's like yeah, and she said to leave the word emails out of it, like to be like
Weekly
she,
communication.
yeah, don't say like it'd be like instead of subscribe here, it'd be like send me the guide here. Send me the
Gotcha.
template.
Okay.
I'm also it didn't work like unless I'll have Rob do it, but like I'm also trying to get people instead of she said it's good to have people respond to the email. And I think that for the second one, she said, like, tell me your story here. Like, and she
Mm.
actually has people sending her their story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like so they'll like actually email back because they think it's just to her. Like if we know that that's not the case because we're like in the business world, but other people are like, oh my God, that's so nice of her. Like I will totally send this. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like it's like I would love to tell this person about my story. Like did not even occur to me. So
Right.
um oh, in this one, in the one that I sent on when was this Thursday of last week or Friday morning, I was like, DM me for the template. So like that's another thing I'm gonna start using as a strategy for my emails to see if
Mhm.
if people actually respond.
You put that in the email?
Yeah.
Okay.
DM like and then I think my um my what's it called? My um subject was like DM'd for a template also.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So I could do that now. I could offer people a planner if they sign up for, I've only sold two. Well, I've sold two. I'm very happy that I've sold two.
You sold two. Wait, I need
Yes.
the link. I put the link in the group and I will totally buy this.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I was super excited. So I'm like, I know one person, but I don't necessarily. Maybe it's Shanna, I'm not sure, but I know for sure one was a friend of mine, but she really did want it. So that was exciting. So it's early enough for the people who, there won't be anybody who purchased it and said, well, I could have gotten it free, for consultation. So I think I'll do that today, like set that up, and
Yeah.
maybe for the month of June.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of this kind of stuff because then once you've got that system done, the only thing you'll need to do is just like edit it every once in a while.
Right.
Like if you want, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I look at it too. It's like an investment of time, but like same thing like with like learning all this stuff. Like I think this could be really, really helpful. So I'm
Yes.
doing this like, and I'm gonna launch my freebie with the testimonial template next week after the webinar. So the webinar is on Thursday, and then like Friday morning, I'm launching the testimonial template.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this for you. I think this is like so dang good. I hope this is helpful. If you have if you want me to look over your emails, if you want to like put a screenshot in there, feel free to let me know. Talia, if you want me to look over your presentation and the slides, like go ahead and put it on in there. Like that's why I'm here. So feel free to utilize me. That's why you're paying me. Like I felt like I'm posting my launch evaluation in a group and I felt so weird about it forever. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, this does not need to be a reciprocal group. Like you don't have to like comment on anything else or read anything else I post. You can just like post for info. And I think that could be really helpful.
I have one more quick question. So are you thinking, and I guess I'm thinking now that the free offer for the consultation with the planner is to my email list and like people in the Curate Your Life group, like warm leads.
Say that one more time. The planner goes to warm leads.
So that offer of the free planner with a consultation in warm leads, like my email group and the Curate Your Life group.
Yeah, and I would just say, like add that as a bonus, like for like maybe at the bottom of this next week's email. And then for the planner, anyone who buys the planner which will be all of your warm leads, I'm thinking, will probably then be able to go, they'll get the sequence about the consult. But this is more so, I would think, and I'll clarify this with Natalie, but that's more for new people. Like that's where like new people want to go is on here. Like it's like you want to get new people with the planner to consult with this
Okay.
7 email sales sequence. The old people will just do the buy the planner sales sequence.
Okay.
Does that
All
make
right.
sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and I would say then so it's like after to this whatever email you send this week that's like bonus included, like free planner, it's like limited time planner in the subject line of this next week's email, and then doing a what's it called? And it's like having that in the subject line and then having the
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? For the planner, that's when the sales sequence and like having like the planner sequence for all the other emails. So like, I'm sorry, let me just not share my screen again. But it's like I would have the freebie, like it'd be like just for this, it's like this week only, something like that, like where you typically have like, and maybe even putting it at the top just so that people can see it. But I would say like here is where I would put for sure like consult, like it's like maybe just their whole email this week is like it's like it's like planner bonus, something like that. And now
Okay.
here for just this week's email to your whole list. And then
Okay.
the future having something like buy the planner, something like this for every single week.
Gotcha. Okay.
Very cool. And I'm getting my coach to look through my weekly emails, and I'm gonna see if this is too long for a weekly email. Like I'm like, is this too long? Is this good? Should I be giving away templates every week? Should I not?
Right.
Like, trying to like figure out what that looks like, but that would be my advice for right now.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try it. Thank you.
Of course. And
I can go to the beach now.
go to the beach. Have an awesome time. Talia, have you have any ideas for Demetria? Maybe just like send it in the group so that she can get on to go into the beach. And
Absolutely.
you guys next week, okay? Or next Monday. We don't have any guest speakers. It'll just be regular accountability time. And then next Tuesday, regular group. All right.
Good.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.